All right, welcome to episode 2, part 2 of episode 10. So, one thing that I should clarify, part 1, much like the very first episode of Jennyffer, is kind of like my least favorite part of the final episode because it's mainly just setting up the story. It's mainly just setup. It's mainly just establishing a bunch of things about who Jennyffer used to be and what the main thing this story is going to revolve about is going to be, which is, the sex change surgery. Parts 2 and 3 are probably my favorite parts of this entire project. Probably my favorite parts in all of Jennyffer that I've ever done. 3 a little more than 2, but 2 also has some of my favorite scenes on this project, and we're about to see them right now. So, without further ado, we can start.
What the heck is going on?
Yeah, that's a reference to fucking Skibidi Toilet. Like I already mentioned, I wanted to give Jennyffer interests that would be in accordance to Jennyfer's demographic, and so it was like, yeah, obviously she would be the Skibidi Toilet.
I'll be out for a couple of hours. Please don't destroy the house and put away my makeup. If you have a moment.
Yeah.
I'll come back with pizzas, okay?
Okay.
Behave. Bye. Love you.
Bye. Wait, what the fuck? If you pay attention, there's actually like a bunch of tabs open in 4chan with different interests. Hold on, let me see what. I think we see alternative hentai, handsome men. What is that one? Politically incorrect, LGBT, and comics and cartoons. Yeah, which are not necessarily the ones that I used to frequent. What I used to frequent would be comics and cartoons, which I still go to. TV, television, and movies, literature, science, TG, which is tabletop gaming, and I think that maybe occasionally I would go to V for video games, and yeah, those were the ones that I used to frequent. Also, yeah, I included Finster because obviously Finster is like the gender weird icon of this generation. In my time, we didn't have the technology for femboys of this caliber. I had to fucking watch. Hold on, let me Google the guy because he's a very special guy in my. Hold on. I had to go for. I'm Googling it right now. Brian Zembic. The guy who fucking got boob implants because of a bet. The guy got a bet that if he got boobs for a year, he would get paid, I think, $10,000 or something like that. And this was back in, like, I think, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. I remember when I watched that video back in 2006, 2007, and I was like 14, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? People can do that? People can just fucking do that? I was obsessed with the guy. He was my Finster. Fucking young trans people nowadays are fucking spoiled that they get people like Finster.
I'm a guy with a big dick. I'm a guy. It's just sometimes you gotta realize that, you know what I mean? Just snap you out of it just for a second.
Holy shit, I didn't know you could look.
That is like a big feeling in a lot of trans journeys of self-discovery. Because you grow up as a little kid thinking, oh, trans people, at least, again, this is more of a factor of my generation. This is no longer the case nowadays. But I remember when I was growing up, to think of trans people, you would think about like, drag queens and cross-dressers and transvestites and like the people who, didn't have the easiest time passing in the world, to put it diplomatically. People who didn't look that well, who didn't have a lot of passing. And so people who, by current beauty canons, they probably look kind of bad. And so that they would look even. It's not just that they looked bad though, right? It's the fact that they look cringe. It's the fact that they looked embarrassing, and that's what made it so stigmatized, so taboo at the time. And so when you discover for the first time that wait, actually you can look really good as a trans person, that's when you start thinking, oh shit, maybe I could do that. And that's when you take your first step in that journey. Also, this reflects another very true thing about my past, which is, when you're a teenager and you're all alone at home and you know that your mom is not going to come for like hours, so you can do whatever you want. And usually what you would do is just masturbate or whatever. But sometimes you would go to your mom's room and you would open her drawer where all her clothes are. And you would be like, oh boy, I could put this on and nobody could stop me. And yeah, it felt exactly like this. I actually had like entire exit strategies because I used to put on my mom's clothes when I was a teenager. And I had like entire exit strategies. If I heard the car pulling up to the driveway, or if I started hearing the keys on the door, I would immediately sprint to the bathroom. And then I would be like, oh, I'm in the bathroom, I'm changing, I'm taking a shit or something or whatever. I came out of taking a shower, and I would take off the clothes and I would take off the makeup in the bathroom, and then when she's not, I would bundle up all of the clothes, probably inside of a towel or a bag that I left there for those situations, and I then would come out of the bathroom with my own clothes, and I would wait until she's distracted, and I would put all the clothes back where they belong when she's not looking. I had to think this over so much so that I wouldn't get caught, and I never got caught.
Hi, I'm Jennyffer. I'm for a meeting with Dr.
So that's a reference to an actual doctor who lives in Thailand. I think he no longer works. I think he has been replaced by his successor, Dr. Bong, I think. Or Bang, I think Dr. Bang. But yeah, Dr. Suporn's clinic is the clinic worldwide that's located in Thailand where trans women who have a lot of money from all around the world go there to get their vaginas done because he's supposedly the best in the business. And I actually went to that guy back in 2018. Not for myself, because at the time I was still deeply repressing, but my girlfriend, who was a trans girl, she wanted to go to Thailand to get her vagina done, and she needed a translator who would speak in English. So I went with her as a translator. So I got to stay an entire month in Thailand, accompanying my girlfriend getting her vagina done. And so I had to be in all of the interviews, I had to be in all of the meetings, I had to be in all of the clinical talks, and I had to be there for her surgery. So I got to see the entire process. First seats, first grades, up close. I got the photos of the entire surgery. I got to see it all, dude. I got to experience it vicariously. So that was a formative. That was the year that I came out of the closet, by the way. Funny that.
Porn about the whole, sex change for minors thing in the news stuff.
So Rebecca here is a reference to another of the cornerstones that inspired Jennyffer back then, Becky Prim. There is an animatic in YouTube for a pilot for a show called Becky Prim, made by... I don't remember the guy's name, but his name shows up in the credits. And it was basically the same idea. It was the idea of a terrible teenage girl, she wasn't trans, who would curse and smoke and be a nuisance and be a problem and threaten violence and all of that stuff. She dies in the first episode and her ghost possesses a person, and it's really funny. And it was just a fantastic, phenomenal, incredible idea for a show. Like, you should watch the pilot. It's really, really good. It's really funny. I think it's much better than this that I made. It's certainly it's much better drawn and animated, much more energetic. And yeah, like, the idea is almost essentially beat for beat the exact same idea. The only original thing I added is that Jennyffer is trans and that this is what the show is about. Well, the other difference is that I actually made my show, while the guy only stayed as a pilot, so I guess I won. No, I'm kidding. But it was one of the biggest inspirations for Jennyffer, alongside with Rezuak's art style. I fully recommend it. You should go watch it. It's really good. I considered asking the guy to voice his character Becky Prim in this scene, but then I was like, but then I would have to wait for the guy to answer to me, and he's probably too busy. And by the time that I considered this, I was so far along the process that I was like, I can't waste any more time. So I decided to just do it myself.
I'll call you when he's free. Meanwhile, you'll have to fill form 41. 41, right? Like, 41%, right? Like, the,
Jesus fucking Christ, Jenny. Oh my god. At least I make the joke not land. Like, I show that how the joke is not funny. That's actually a sound effect of a balloon getting inflated. I couldn't find good sound effects for people blowing up a bubble gum. That's when I'm trying to show, like, this is a reference. It's not just some random extra that I decided to made interesting for no reason.
sorry, do you have a pen I can borrow?
So the character here is wearing a Maxplosive shirt. So this character here has a lot of fucking lore, actually. It's surprisingly a lot of lore. I wrote a novel or a short story, or whatever you may want to call it, back in 2015 called fan.tastic, as in like .com. And it was about a female blogger in Tumblr who is a micro celebrity and who is really thirsty for being more popular. And she's an artist. And so she's very popular for drawing fan art and stuff and making popular posts and shit posts and stuff like that. And the entire story is kind of about her rise and fall, about how she becomes, gets cancelled for having a controversial opinion, and how getting cancelled makes her go into 4chan and becoming part of Gamergate or whatever. And it was kind of an autobiographical story about how I ended up on Gamergate. And it was like a whole thing. Frankly, it's not very good. It's kind of problematic in a lot of senses, that story. I take a lot of questionable choices in that story, but to be fair, it was 2015. It was a long time ago. It was 10 years ago, as a matter of fact. And the thing is that one of her fandoms was this fake video game called Maxplosive, which is a game that I actually created. Well, it's a game that I designed in my career as a video game artist. I designed a video game called Maxplosive about a girl trapped in an island with the power of explosions. And it was kind of a Rareware inspired video game. It kind of looked like sort of like Donkey Kong Country or something like that. And the girl could like destroy obstacles and jump really high, powered by explosions. And this character, which in the story Fantastic, she's called Duchess of Earl, because that's her nick, that's her handle, that's the name of her avatar online, that's the name that she uses online. That's the name of her blog, in fact. Would make a lot of fan art of Maxplosive and stuff. So yeah, the story was incomplete, and it was left in the point where she joins 4chan. I had a lot of plans for Duchess of Earl in my mind at the time. The first arc of the story was her relationship with DeviantArt. The second arc of the story would be her relationship with 4chan, with Tumblr. The third level of the third arc of the story would be her relationship with 4chan, and the last arc of her story would be her relationship with Less Wrong, with the rationalist community. So yeah, so abandoned this story in 2015, and I abandoned this character in 2015. And when I was thinking of who I wanted to put here, of how I wanted to design this character, I was like, I have this character in my back pocket. I have this character that I have done nothing with in 10 years. So why don't I use her? And the thing is that given the kind of person that she was and the stories that I told about her in Fantastic, I think it makes sense to me that she would be a detransitioner. It makes sense to me that she would try being a trans man for a while and then regret it. Just because that's just kind of who she is. She is this person that, gets swept by internet phenomena very easily. She's a person who kind of makes bad choices. I like to think that this is kind of closing her arc in a way, like showing she finally grew up as a person this entire scene. So yeah, let's
There you go.
see.
You're in for the SRS thing for minors, right? Good luck with that.
Yeah. Why? You too?
No. If anything, I'm here for the opposite.
What do you mean by that?
Means I'm detransition.
The voice of this character is a very good friend of mine that I know IRL in Argentina, and she chose to stay anonymous for this part, so I can't tell you anything about her. But she is a cis girl because, again, fucking nobody answers to my calls.
What?
I was born a girl, tried being a guy, didn't work out, so I'm going back.
Oh, I see. You're a quitter. It got a little too tough, and now you're giving up, right, zipper tits?
What? No.
I'm sure you'll find a whole host of conservative talk shows where you can share your heartbreaking story.
You're way.
That's such a horrible insult. This is one of those few scenes that I like to show Jennyffer being wrong. I like to show every now. This is one of the very few scenes where we see Jennyffer like being proven wrong. Like, she's not always right. She is an immature teenager. She can say hurtful things, and she doesn't have all the answers. And sometimes someone has to put her in her place.
Off, kid. I just thought I'd be happier like this, but this just wasn't the right choice for me. That's it.
Wait, hold on. Are you for real? So you fucked yourself. That's what's happening here. You made a little whoopsie, and for what? Because the internet told you so? And now that's it. You fucking ruined your life forever. Who the fuck transitions by mistake? Are you a fucking retard?
Okay, listen, kid. I'll cut you some slack because I can see you are young and dumb. But just so you know, no, I am not an idiot. I did this with the understanding of what I was getting into. I knew the risks. I knew there was a chance of regret. I considered the pros and cons and was informed of the consequences of getting this wrong. And yeah, I was wrong, but it was my choice to make. Now it's my responsibility to deal with it. That's what it means to be an adult. I hope you understand the choices you're making, kid.
So I was really, really nervous about this entire scene because in some senses I am kind of talking out of my ass here. In the sense that I did not went out looking for detransitioner voices to write this character. I didn't do a lot of research. I just wrote whatever made most sense to me. I wanted to show a sympathetic and understanding and reasonable position here, but I am open to the complaint that this is not very authentic. Like, maybe a detransitioner sees this and they're like, no, actually, this is not. It's not like that at all. I have completely different problems and I have completely different crises and insecurities and actually, I didn't know what I was getting into and I was deceived or whatever. I have heard some voices in one direction. I have heard some voices in the other direction, actually. So it's not like I'm coming out of this from scratch, like reverse engineering from zero, but I am not the most actually informed person on the subject, so, there is a lot that could be wrong with this scene. Yeah, that's what gets to you in the end. Having time alone with your thoughts. That is so real. When I was a little kid and a teenager, to me, like, lipsticks were such a powerfully feminine thing, and the way that you opened them felt just so erotic, just so inherently salacious that I felt deeply uncomfortable around lipstick when I was a kid. It was a fucking pain in the ass to synchronize this scene to this song. Because it was either or too long or too short. I had to add a bunch of things to make this scene work a lot better than I had originally intended in the storyboard. Also, this song, it's really funny how I discovered this specific song. I already talked about Be the Musical in episode 9 and how I used to participate there. Well, one of the songs that they parodied was this one, and they turned it into, fuck, I don't know, Luca Boy Goes Down or something like that. And it was a parody of a Monster Girl visual novel where you are just a young Shota boy adventurer who keeps finding, like, monster girls that take advantage of him. Anyway, like I like that parody a lot, and then I was like, where does this come from? What is the original song? And I discovered this song. This is probably the most autobiographical scene in the entire fucking show. Like, yes, this is something that I did verbatim as a kid.
I probably look so fucking gay, god damn it. Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah, and me flexing again that I can animate. It had to be that stanza, right? It had to be that chorus. I don't know which. I'm a sexual spastic and my name is Bobby Brown. I have an entire post in my Patreon about how I did that background, and it took me like a whole day to figure out how to do that starburst pattern that we see behind Jennyffer. It was a fucking nightmare.
Oh, well, I finally made it back. The pizza's a little cold. Sorry about that. It took so long because I got delayed in traffic and I...
Yeah, this was my biggest fear as a kid. Like, this was my biggest nightmare when I was a teenager. Thank God it never happened to me.
What the fuck? So, everything looks good. In a few hours, we will be taking you in for surgery. Is there anything else you need? Just some privacy, so I can get one last concerto out of the old flute, right?
I like how Jennyffer is doing a lot of awkward jokes in this episode that are not good. They just keep bumping that nobody finds funny. Just to show like how uncomfortable she feels, how awkward she feels with this entire situation. Because again, she's not sure about what she wants to do.
Alright, sure. See you in a while, Miss Jingleheimer.
Jennyffer? Hey, Jenny, look at
Yay! Fan favorite character comes back. That was it. So yeah, this is used to be called Felix in episode 5. Now we're gonna see what her actual name is. And yeah, I got my same very good friend, Mr. Catfishing, to do the part again. That was a lot of fun.
you. So you're also getting the surgery? I got mine a week ago.
I got really worried at a certain point because I realized that the design of this character looks very similar to Peter and to what a female version of Peter would look like, and also looks very similar to the detransitioner character. So I was worried. I tried to make some extra effort to like bring her distinctive characteristics to the forefront so that she wouldn't get confused.
Oh my god, it's you! Hi, Felicia, right. I remember you. What are your pronouns?
She, they.
Huh?
Although some days it can be they, them.
Okay. So anyway...
I love these little signs that Jennyffer is actually not at all into the weird gender abolitionist neopronouns, more let's say extreme aspects of gender ideology and stuff. It's just, I don't know, I like the fact that Jennyffer is just a little bit more conservative than that.
Hey, you got the surgery already? How's that working out for you?
Oh, Jenny. It was the best decision I ever made in my life. It saved...
It was very important to me that in the same episode, because this originally was part of the next episode. This episode originally ended when Jennyffer is discovered by her mom. But then I decided, well, first because of timing reasons, because otherwise this episode would have been very short and the next episode would have been very long. But also because, you know, it was important to me that I got to show both sides of the issue in one episode. That I could show one person who regretted transitioning and one person for whom transition was the best idea they could have ever have, like the best thing that it could have ever done in their life.
I don't even know how to put it into words. I can breathe now. I can breathe. I was suffocating before and I didn't even realize. I was just sleepwalking through life, going through the motions. I just wasn't alive before, and now I'm complete. And who I was always supposed to be.
At one point, I have the character say, I can taste butter, I can live deliciously, as a reference to the Robert Eggers movie, The Witch, from 2016, where the devil proposes a girl, wouldst thou like to taste butter? Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? It's a great scene, it's a great line, and I wanted to include it.
And it's all thanks to you.
Wait, what?
If it wasn't for you, it might have taken me years to realize this, so thank you, Jenny. You saved my life.
Oh, jeez, Felicia, I don't know what to say. I mean, to be honest, I was just trying to skip class, but what is that?
My alarm.
I like that Jenny actually was willing to confess here.
Something about that, but I wasn't paying attention. It's to keep the hole open, right?
Well, it's not like it's going to close shut. It's just so the vagina doesn't lose depth.
Is it painful?
It can be. It's more annoying than anything. I have to do it 3 times a day during the first 6 months.
Oh, damn.
Although, the real risk comes from the blood clots. That's why you have to stop HRT 1 month before surgery. But
A lot of this is informed by the fact that, again, I was with my girlfriend when she did her neovagina, and yeah, I followed her through the entire process. I saw how that first year after this surgery was like really fucking demanding. It was very uncomfortable. Yeah. She had to diet. She had to do the whole thing every day, and it was a major pain in the ass. It was worth it for her, but you know, it was a major pain in the ass. And I wanted to be able to like depict that. Like, a lot of it is just me flexing that, oh yeah, I am very informed about this subject because I actually saw it in person.
anyway, it's all worth it in the end. And hey, good luck with the surgery. You have a wonderful journey ahead of you.
That ending is a little too fast. I should have dragged that final scene a little more. This is Georgie Girl by, I want to say the Mamas and the Papas? They made another song that by the way, Susana Ortiz there, the name of the actress, that's not the real name, because again, she's my friend and she wanted to stay anonymous. Susana Ortiz is the name of the Duchess of Earl in the original Fantastic story. And this is a reference to Becky Prim by Carl Hadrika. So there you go. A little bit, hey there, Georgie girl. Oh, okay, it's not the Mamas and the Papas, it's the Seekers. I don't remember how I found this song, actually. I think it was just purely through YouTube recommendations. And that was part 2. We will see you in part 3.